All right, my guy. It's time. So it was back in 2017, last year, when I first heard of J.I.D with his The Never Story project that came out, I believe, March 2017. I was new to his music. I was new to him as an artist. I only happened upon his music because I watched this Dreamville trailer detailing his story about how he was going through college, how he got kicked out, how he met up with J. Cole, how he got signed, and, you know, how the adventure started from there. And listening to this dude rap, I don't know, I got something different that I don't really get from many artists. The dude had this charisma. Dude had this effortless ability to just weave himself in and out of very particular pockets of the songs that he was on his own album, of course. And I just wanted to hear more from this dude, and the more he kept dropping music, the more I wanted to hear. So of course, naturally, I was excited for DiCaprio 2, the album that was just released about 45 minutes ago. Me knowing there was a theme for The Never Story, I feel like there's a theme for this. He's referencing one of my favorite actors, if not my favorite actor of all time. And the second I heard that this was going to be called DiCaprio 2, I instantly, at least in my head, even though it's a sequel title to his mixtape that came out in 2015, I still feel like DiCaprio 2 is just saying that J.I.D is DiCaprio number 2. Another well-respected artist in the game that has yet to receive the recognition, and maybe once they have received the recognition, people might not understand why. You know, so when I look at an artist like this in the same way I look at a DiCaprio, him being one of my favorite actors, some of my favorite performances from him being like his performance on The Wolf of Wall Street. I forgot the title of it, but a movie with Robert De Niro where the stepfather was extremely abusive mentally and physically. I felt the type of way when they gave him an Oscar. Even though I liked the movie The Revenant, I did not think that was his best performance, and I felt the way when they gave it to him for that because I felt like they just threw it to him. There were so many performances that he gave before that point I felt deserved an Oscar. So I believe J.I.D's trying to say he's going to go a while, or he's gotten to a point where people have just slept on things that he's created and they just got to catch up. And I believe he's also alluding to the idea that by the time he gets the recognition, at least publicly, it won't be for the things that actually matter maybe. But I could go on for years about what that might mean. I love the thought behind it. I'm going to listen to this. I hope it's great. I've been anticipating this for a couple months now. I'm excited to listen to it. Let's hop in. Don't forget to drink your water. You just gonna fucking lie like that? That's not water, bitch. Track number 1 is called Frequency Change.
Ooh, you wanna have a fantasy tonight? Call 1-800-555-DIG2.
In their bags, I see guns with extended clips.
Alright, that middle excerpt, I'm assuming that he woke up in the middle of the night, turned on the TV, don't know what to watch, scrolling through the channels. I think that one part where the person is like trying to be like the crocodile hunter, but instead it's like saying that the rappers are these animals that need to be researched. I think that's pretty funny. Track number 2 is called SlickTalk. Activate.
Maturation, process rap game too saturated, grabulated, masturbation on the face, acting patient, so complacent, comfortable, a basic big clips. I don't feel elevated when I came in here, claiming to see songs about being famous and shit. I was a bad little never had.
I love how dark the atmosphere of this song is. I love how dark it is.
It's the type of shit that have nipples and beat that shit talk. Follow by some a lot of shit to say, but I'ma keep my list short. I know a lot of your
We're one track in.
Atlanta like Gucci and Travis Porter, but my story is similar to the hair in the tortoise. Pin so sharp,
tell them.
Got me out of an awful place. My nigga.
Oh, this is his freestyle. Okay.
Like us from my dim lit past. Them whip pimp shit.
Damn. When I really like tracks, there's not much for me to say about the reasons that I like it, other than this dude is sticking simply to what he knows and kind of building on top of it. Because while, like I said, The Never Story was a great album, it's the production here I feel is as jittery as J.I.D is. Like, it's as weird, as bouncy. Here I just think he's in his element and the atmosphere matches him. I think the SlickTalk theme here going on too, and I love how he references being a representation of the tortoise and the hare, you know, patience being one of those things that he's always had to make a priority, not due to his own decision making either. I can relate to that because timing is something that I think is a blessing, at least for me, whenever it comes to anything that happens in my life, because I feel like everything happens on time. It's always been that way. Even if it's taken a long time, it's happened on time. Track number 3, JID and ASAP Ferg, Westbrook.
Yeah, I stumbled on every step, mumble with every breath. Do not came up, I done came up. Put your chains up.
Put the weed in the sack, in the back, in the black J.I.D with the cat. G's with the jeans on the straps on the scene with the lean with the cream.
As bouncy as he is, it's crazy. So he's using a couple parts from his freestyle in his verses right now. I got it. I can't remember that at all. Freestyle goes perfect over this beat though. Jingle Butcher, this is great.
And that's how all this shit be started.
I don't know how to feel about the hook. JID's performance over it. I love how animated he's being. I love how much energy vocally he's giving to this project. That's what makes it more fun, more entertaining to listen to. A dude that has a lot of energy with his delivery, a hell of a lot of energy with his flow. He's not holding back any punches lyrically, I feel like. There haven't been as many references to the overall theme of this project as I feel I would have liked to have, but for the most part, I feel like it's more of JID showcasing the skills, or maybe why he's in the position that he's in right now, or maybe why he got his deal. Just to say that, I didn't just get, signed for no reason. If you need to know why people like me, this is why. And he's showcasing that, and he's not going and straying away from it. So I like that he's sticking to the things that I feel like people love him for, and not trying to be this other artist completely because he knows what's popular. And I love in this song, I think it's J. Cole saying that's warped in the voicemail, how you watching your food, you watching somebody else, but your food's getting cold. I think that's just a great way to say how, envy and jealousy and, a lack of appreciation for what you have can kind of spiral out of control and kind of ruin you in a way. When I say the hook, I don't really know if I'm really feeling the ASAP Ferg hook, because I feel like it's building up into something, but that something never comes. Like, the hook is great, but I feel like it's a build up, but with no climax. Rapping for the most part is great, but the hook, I was looking for that peak, and I didn't feel like it got there. Track number 4, OffDeez, that features JID and J. Cole. I've heard that one already. I have my own video on that separately. Really great track. Not a huge fan of the beat, but great track. I could play it, listen to it over and over again. I love the way those two are rapping and flowing on that track. Effortless, great song. 150 Rum, another great song. Also listened to it already. I thought the beat intro lasted a little bit too long, but still a great track. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with JID's flow or his rapping here. So the one track I haven't heard yet is OFFdaZoinkys. I'm assuming he means off some type of substance. Hopefully no hard substances out there, JID. Stay safe. And yeah, let's play it. Kind of churchish.
Lay off the drugs. Some of y'all need to lay off the dope. My niggas getting it straight off the boat. Put it straight to your nose. I ain't nosy, but I know what I know. Mr. Know It All. Oh, here you go. I'm the goat. I never go with the flow.
I love that.
Boys, I want what I want. I'ma say the shit again and again. I'ma go and put the shit to an end. I'm the leader. Looking for keys. Look at the pain in your eye, nigga. Look what we been. Look at our wins. Look at our sins.
The rapping. It's perfect. I'm in church at a JID concert right now. That's what's happening. This is great. Oh my god. You could be off some other shit. It ain't gotta be the Zoinkys. Another really enjoyable track here. I love the kind of church atmosphere going on in the background. It's almost like you're being, if I'm interpreting this correctly, or just how I feel about it, it's almost like you're being preached to without being talked down to. And I think that's an important thing to kind of keep in check when you're trying to give somebody advice while not trying to come off judgmental. I think it's a mistake a lot of artists tend to make when they try to generalize such a large population, especially when it comes to drug use. You don't want to try to offend people, but you want to get your message across that you might not need this thing that you're clinging on so hard to. And I love the one line he says in here about needing your vision to stay clear. I think that's an amazing thing to keep focused on and centered on when you're trying to especially group people together and bring your environment up and bring your people up. You need to realize that just because you got money now, that doesn't mean that this is your peak. This isn't the top. We're far from where we need to be. It's not the end. You know, you haven't made it because you are in a position of financial stability now, or because you found yourself in a better environment. You still need to have a clear vision, have a clear mindset. And I love that he put emphasis on this without trying to come off as if he knows the way or knows the answer, but he clearly knows that this is something that's, you know, debilitating people and keeping them in a certain frame of mind that isn't healthy. So I like the way he addresses it in this song. I think the song sounds great. I like the message in it. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say about it other than that. Track number 7, Working Out.
Really on the edge, I'm about to jump in the view. I'm really not afraid.
Look, artists, you can always get me with piano work. You can piano or violin work. You can always get me with that.
Everything ain't got nothing back. Ain't looking for it, no pedal backs. That ain't how we got. Where the fuck we at? Mama called, where the fuck you at? On the road, it ain't.
I don't think I've ever been more in my element than in this very moment while listening to a song on camera. Like, I haven't felt the vibe of a song this much in so long, and I'm happy about it. Look how happy I am. Thank you. Now on with these messages. I don't know how to leave, so I'm gonna try to slowly back away. But if I back away too much, I'm gonna go into the greens. All right.
I can see you working out. Then you got a new job. Tell me how that shit working out. The pistol with off the temple pimpin' since the pimpin' keep it sensitive.
I can get lost in this entire track.
That nigga J. Cole got all this money, look like he about to borrow somebody charger or something. Come on, bruh. Let me get your charger, bruh.
This dude is corny as fuck. Yeah, this track is great. I completely got lost in the piano. J.I.D, vocally, he doesn't ruin the aesthetic, the smooth vibe, that jazzy kind of atmosphere. It's a bit of somberness to it as well, because he's talking like from the position or from the perspective of life after success. Like, now that I've attained shit, now y'all don't want to leave me alone. Now you mad that I'm telling you to leave me alone, but before, you wouldn't want to be around me or near me if I didn't have X, Y, Z. And that's something that's not native to him, I'm sure, but something that I'm sure he wanted to talk or speak on, especially when you have these corny-ass lines from people at the end of that track telling people that are in his position, hey, you need to flex. Like, I want to see what you got. Like, that's annoying as fuck. That's the last thing somebody I feel who's been working this hard, especially trying to be low-key, wants to do when they finally get to a better position. That's the last thing you want to. That's the last thing you want to show. I just don't understand what hood these people are from, because where I'm from, when you get some money, I'm not saying you be stingy. Of course, you can help who you choose to help, and that's selective. But if you still in the environment, why the fuck are you flexing? Like, are you trying to be a lick? Like, what? I don't understand. Like, you want to get money to remain in your environment and flex on the people who don't have as much as you, just so they can, at the end of the day, look at you like a lick, some of them, and then you be mad at them again when they rob you. I don't understand. Make your money, pay your taxes, shut up. Next track, Tiiied, featuring Black and LMA.
And now you trying to make a scene at the movies. You really wanna act, bitch? We at the movies.
Trying to make a scene at the movies.
I want my money back. Previews, and now she mad. Taking shit to social.
I fuck with just singing, but I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of funny when he starts singing sometimes, cause it sounds like he's a goat. Like, I ain't gonna leave. Wait, does a goat make that noise or does a sheep make that noise? See, this is why these little excerpts, they don't do well. Cause I try to say something. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why Shawn C doesn't do stand-up. He's fucking terrible. Look at his face. Look at him. It's trash.
Look inside your wallet, you got one bill. Never got a job, but you want chill. There ain't nothing left to admire. I've been listening to my life, whoa. Don't you let the love turn to pyro.
So down on your luck and stuff ain't looking up. You need something that's taking you higher. Maybe it's when you
I like LMA's voice right now. This is good.
Niggas ain't shit.
I was really hoping to get a different perspective from like all of them, even though LMA contributed like a nice little she's like the icing on top. I like how Jid's talking about having this back and forth with this chick. I like the one line about having a scene in the movie theater. I thought that was great. And Black, you know, talking about how this chick just wants to be taken care of, but she don't really want to do anything or contribute anything. She's not really adding to anyone's value. I think overall the track is nice, or maybe I prefer Ella May over the hooks as opposed to Black and Jid. Because I think I would have loved to see where her voice could have been over the hook for the whole thing. And then maybe they wouldn't have had to, just to give her feature some more time, like insert her into the back end of it. But I did like the track. It was enjoyable. It wasn't my favorite, but it was enjoyable. Track number 9 is Skrawberries featuring BJ the Chicago kid been out here lately. I see you on Anderson .Paak's record.
Tat like Steph on Marbury. Carry all my dirt to the grave on the palm. Paris with the fairest skin. Yelling in her face and she repeated like a parrot. On another nigga dick, I'm on another tip. My skin so tense, strength on strength.
I'm on another tip.
Baby, I'm dressed for the war. Baby girl, I'm just
he's gon' kill the hook.
Got a couple of abortions, now that pussy's a haunted house. Now we're heart cold and heart.
Yeah, we need to have a conversation. Don't ever do no shit like that again. All right, I almost died just now, so
like I know the bar is about abortion, but I'm not debating. Like, what did I do?
I thought I was coming up from the bottom, hitting you high. Bullshit.
Parallelogram, shaping a prism. Stop sign, never stop sign. Let's be realistic. I've been trying to get in touch. I call her feminine. Tell them how you really feel, head ass.
Yeah, that track was great. I play it again. Track number 11 is MountedUp.
The meddling glass has been a blast. Feeling magic in the madness. Give me your hands, give me passion. Anything that can equal some satisfaction. The house, y'all niggas been playing skins first blouses. I'ma keep my shirt on until some hoes come out. Grab my dick and do a thrust with my pelvis. My shoes sway, but don't fuck with no Elvis. I'm from the era of real shit. Killer bee flow worth kilograms. You niggas killing me, thinking you good as me. What shit?
He knows.
Nigga be tripping. I'm feeling like most of you niggas be slipping. I'm giving you tips and a nigga just went with it.
Oh God! I only noticed after a short while of listening to this track like 60,000 more times. It is kind of like a callback to Atlanta in the South, and you know the reminiscence, as he says in this song, that they have with one another. It's kind of funny that the whole track itself is like a scene, but it's also like a murdering of the Southern rap game at the same time. At least the more popularized Southern rap game, because as far as strong lyricists are concerned, people, I guess in the modern time, only really know about Big Crit and assume everybody else that comes from Atlanta that doesn't have that same amount of substance, like Gucci, like Migos, like Thug, represents that area. And this is also kind of like Jid's warning. I love this track. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna survive. I'm in. Like, I'm buckled in. Track number 12, Just the Other Day. Is this drama again?
Ooh, nigga, you too slow. Jet out the dark in the hot sun, so soaking it in. I never been a dope man, but I'm the dopest of men. Buy some paying for the lawyers, get my bros out the courtyard. Cause I got the ear for the flows, not Mozart, but damn a nigga go hard. Put me on the postcard, I'm missing to the show start. My nigga got a Benz, like a go-kart. Trying to get one of them, but my hands like don't start the bullshit again for you end up a
no.
Jet out the day,
oh, this is the one.
You got a 5, I got a 5.
This is the one. This is it. Day.
Hurricane in here last night. It would appear that something sexual is severe. I need that Mark Zuckerberg of a class.
His flow impeccable, his wordplay, the lyricism, the beat, the bass line. Oh my God. I could picture him driving through his whole neighborhood. I could picture it. This is the track. Music video alert. This is the one where you drive through your old hood. This is the one where you walking through. This is it. I love how he references in this track too, like how he's not that far removed from what he's talking about. Like he's saying I was broker than I am right now. Like I still feel like I don't have a lot of money, but I got more than I used to have. You know, I'm looking for a house. I was looking for a house back then too. You know, it's kind of funny how when you progressed, how things can still remind you of where you used to be. They say sometimes you face the things again when you're in a better position to see how you react to it. Track number 13 is called Despacito 2.
This shit for the kids.
I'm a kid at heart.
I can be whatever I wanna be. Been not a bitch or a nigga stand in front of me. Them pee, plenty lion and many bison, Seen some, seen one, but I can be whatever I wanna be. Trying to turn this honey tree into a money tree. But it's only one of me. Down, dig down, doctor, that's the jig. Give a health check. I'm the but I never take shit. I'm cold with the flowing, cause your niggas selfish. And my niggas desperate. Be a rapper with your dumb ass. Just because you used to bump cash, talk fast. I'ma be better than y'all to be. Trying to be, y'all to see. All for one, all for me. Shit. You niggas ain't all for me. Motherfucker with your offering. Talk.
God, man, I'm telling you.
Better get you a gun, better do what you want, whatever you feel in your stomach, whatever.
It's the second time a car didn't crash. It's the second time you made a car crash because the song is just too distracting. Oh, I love this warped instrumental.
I want to do Black Panther, but peace out, well.
Yeah.
Wow. And for all you sad ass motherfuckers that didn't hear Hasta Luego when it came out the summer of 2017 last year, you are sorely missing out, but go listen to the track yourselves because it's also a great track. I definitely, because I heard a lot of people saying that he gave them like Wayne influence on his last record. I definitely heard it in that track. I think it was near the second verse. Definitely gave me some Wayne vibes, but like I said, I'm not really mad at that. Wayne has influenced and inspired so many people. I just love that he's still able to maintain his own identity even while kind of being reminiscent of another artist to some degree. And I also love the message in that track. I love how it ends with the kid saying that Black Panther isn't real, and also telling kids and using himself as an example that you can be whatever it is that you want to be. But I just love that kids, especially like I said, young black kids, I like that they're not being at least so exposed to folk tales and what ifs and these false idols, and the amount of things you could tell a kid about, the amount of things that you could get a kid to believe. You want them to believe in folklore, you want them to believe in something that isn't real. They want you to look at something like Superman or Black Panther or any of these other random ass superheroes that aren't tangible. They want like the little kids to have these people as idols, but when they get to a further point in their life, these things become unattainable. And since something that hasn't been tangible since they were little been like the forefront of their mind, like I wish people didn't entertain the idea when I was writing these little stories when I was little and presenting them to people, and they were like, oh, this is a nice story. I wish they didn't, indulge and say this is as far as you should go with that. I wish they'd have said, oh, people become directors from this, people become, writers from this, people become authors from this. Like, I wish people would tell you about the bigger steps to the smaller dreams that you might have, as opposed to either trying to crush them or give you some example of something that doesn't exist. At least having implemented that mentality when you're little, because it goes a long way when you get older. Dicaprio 2 from J.I.D. It lets me know, again, that everything I felt in the beginning of this video just feels like it's confirmed right now. I feel like this is just all the reasons why I enjoyed J.I.D in the first place, in the same way that I would enjoy Leonardo Dicaprio. I would go and watch a Leonardo DiCaprio film regardless of what movie he's playing, because I know that his performance or his feature in the film is probably going to make me happy that I spent the money to go see the movie. Regardless of if the movie is great or not, I still went to see it because I know his performance is the dominating reason for why I would even pay to go see the film in the first place. J.I.D gives me that same kind of thing on this album, in the way that he doesn't switch the things that I like his music for. He doesn't change. I just feel like even though I don't know what he's going to drop, I feel confident in feeling like he's going to deliver a star performance. And he does it every time. I have not been disappointed with this dude's performance. Again, when we relate it to back to Leonardo DiCaprio, the film I might not always love. Just like a couple of the beat selections on this album, I wasn't incredibly fond of. A couple of the subject matter, when it came to at least some of the relationship cuts on this project, I wasn't the biggest fan of, even though I still somewhat enjoy it. But J.I.D's performance made them worthwhile. It made it worth seeing. If anything, I feel like this album makes you believe in J.I.D more than it makes you believe in what he can do outside of his rapping capabilities. I feel like you have more confidence in J.I.D, you have more stock in J.I.D after an album like this, just like you would your favorite actor, or you see people dropping stuff so consistently on such a regular basis. It becomes it becomes less of a question of, is this guy going to give a good performance, and it becomes a question of, when is he going to get the recognition? And I think that is the bigger question for a majority of this album, is not waiting for J.I.D to deliver, it's waiting for people to deliver, it's waiting for people to acknowledge. And I think that is such a big role of this project. I think it's lack of concept here, even though it's centered around, or it's going a specific way, it's clearly aimed at a certain idea. It doesn't necessarily have this concept that binds all the tracks to this exact same point. And the fact that some of these tracks act more as little film excerpts than they do these random ass songs helps my theory that this is more centered around the DiCaprio theme even more. Again, while thematically some of these tracks don't always hit, the performance is always on point. It's always up there. It's always up there. It's not shoddy. It's not a half-assed kind of display of his technical skill. I don't know what atmosphere or what place I'm going to, but I know as long as he's starring in this film, I'm there. I'm also surprised that Mac Miller had a hand in a lot of production for this album. Again, rest in peace, Mac Miller. But yeah, trying to find a track on this album that I don't like is hard when the performance is from an artist that, to me, is just high level. Like, I don't have a movie. Of course, I have movies that Leonardo DiCaprio has played in, like that Island movie. I forgot what it was called. I didn't really like that movie at all, but I went specifically to see DiCaprio. So it's hard for me to say I wasted my time when I'm literally going there just to see how he performs. From SlickTalk to Westbrook to OffDeez, 151 Rum, OffDeZoinkys, Working Out, Tiiied and Skrawberries. Skrawberries is a great track. I don't like Tiiied as much, but Skrawberries is great. Hotbox is great. MountedUp, Just the Other Day, Despacito 2, Hasta Luego is the bonus track. I just feel like this is one of the most solid albums I've listened to all year. And it's rare to have such confidence in an artist that you can go and support what they do before you hear it. I like how the production for a couple of these tracks is a little bit more minimalistic. You know, some of it's a lot more bouncy, kind of matching J.I.D's kind of jittery delivery, aiding in his name as well, aiding in his technical rapping ability as well. But some of the tracks, like I said, have a bit more of a somber feeling to them. Some of them carry a bit more of a harder, more grimy feel to them. I don't think this album is incredibly strong when it comes to hooks. But again, I'm here for the rapping. The rapping is A1. J.I.D, Despacito, DiCaprio too. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see you next time, and I'm out. Peace. I'm so happy. I love all of this.